Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's up? What's going on? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. This is Jay Moore, and here's what we are talking about today. We're talking about purpose. What, how can you be sure? How can you be sure that this is your purpose? And man, today we're going to look at purpose, man. But I can't believe I actually talked about this. And I can't believe that this is a part of what I was created to, who I was created to be. So guys, I'm just going to kind of share with you kind of like a part of the journey. And you've been listening, you've been watching. I'm going to share part of the journey with you today on how you can be sure whatever it is that you see yourself doing is the purpose. So guys, what's happening next week? Do you know what's happening next week? Here's what is happening next week. Listen, the Good Accounting Challenge is for purpose-driven people and entrepreneurs, folks looking to go into entrepreneurship. It's really for those people, right? Now, here's the thing. If you don't have a business, it could help you as well because look, it's nothing like knowing the information before you do it, but it really helps those who are in business, going into business, because it's going to help you to avoid mistakes. And the big financial mistakes usually come in the form of regular accounting and taxes. But here's the thing, the challenge is not just about that. The challenge is about real accounting. The challenge is about good accounting. And so the good accounting is what we do first, and then we get to the regular stuff so that we can keep more of our money and pretty much, not waste money, man. Look at it, not waste money. So let's jump right in this purpose, and how can you and I be sure that this is it? The first thing I'm going to say is, I don't know. I don't profess to know, because there's no way I can tell you. There's no way I can just say specific. Oh, when this happened, it's that way. So I'm going to say I don't know. Now I'm also going to say, well, look, as I can't speak eloquently over your situation, I'm going to speak over my situation and how I got here. Right. And you've heard part of the story, but maybe there's things that you haven't heard, or maybe that you're new to the channel. If you're new, you should like or subscribe. If you're catching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. So how did we get here? Everything is about an action. You should write that down. Everything is about an action. And we all get prompted to do things at different times in our life. You don't always know why you're being prompted. You don't always know what's on the other side of a decision. One of my mentors says, on the other side of our yes, right, is where your life is changed. It's usually not a no. Now we need to be able to say no to different things, but on the other side of a yes is where your life has changed. And it was a yes. The first thing was an action. It was a nudging. Then it was a yes. And then that yes just kind of moves you to a place. And that place usually it's not going to look purposeful. You should write this down. When you make your yes, it's not going to look purposeful. It's not going to be like, oh my goodness, I've discovered my purpose. It's not going to be that. One, for me, I wasn't looking, right? So I would first say that I was someone who's not aware. I wasn't aware that there was even purpose. I wasn't aware that I was created for a reason. So now that I'm looking back, I can say, oh, look at what happened. So now you have an advantage, because if you're listening to this podcast, I didn't listen to no podcast that talked about any of this stuff. So if you're listening and watching this podcast, then you have an advantage, because now that seed is planted that, oh, I should be looking for something. Guys, let's just think about something. What is this? This is, if you listen to the podcast, you can't see this, but if you're watching it, you can see it. It's a pen. And what's the point of a pen? Why was a pen created? Someone says, man, we need to be able to do something. And what was it they need to be able to do? They said, we want to write now. Now, before there was this kind of pen, they had to use pens that they had to dip in ink. But they said, we want to have a pen, this kind of pen that has ink in it already. We don't have to dip it. We can just, anytime we feel like it, we can write, and we can write down the things that we like to say, the things that we would like people to know. And here's the thing, this pen was created with purpose. But a lot of times we're living our life without purpose. We're not even thinking about purpose. We're just waking up. Oh my goodness, I got bills to pay. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, no, the lights, man, I got to pay the lights and gas bill. I got to pay the mortgage. I got to pay the rent. Oh my, the car notes to do. Oh my goodness, the kids' tuition, and oh man, college tuition is coming up. Oh my goodness, man, we got to pay for food. We got to pay for all this stuff. And you just keep thinking. You're just like, not you. I was doing all these things. I'm just running after the stuff. I remember 2002. It was December of 2001, actually. I go to wife, say, honey, I said, man, we're gonna start a business and we're gonna be rich. She was like, wow, I'm not leaving my job. I'm not leaving. She said, you can start a business. It's great. More Small Business Services was the name of our first business. More, my last name is More. Her maiden name is Small. So More Small Business Services. I was like, yeah. She's like, well, I'll keep working while you go to business, right? Now, she would do things. She had one client that she worked with, and she just worked. And that's all she did. And, and I started this business with here was the premise. Are you ready for the premise? Because we're looking at purpose. We're trying to figure out how do you know when you have discovered it and if that's real. I jumped into the business, and here's what I said. Like many, many people before me and after me said this, man, I got to make some money. Man, let me make me some money, man. I got to make me some money in this business. If that's the premise for starting a business, now people have made money. I'm not telling you that that's not possible. Most of the time, if that is the premise, then that purpose it would dry up at some point because you won't have anything to drive you. So you made this decision, not knowing that this decision leads. See, every decision, every action leads to. See, God has programmed within you and me a GPS, and the GPS is moving us the GPS would like to move us by default to where it is that is already programmed in you. But here's the thing, we make decisions. I made a decision to early in my life, even before I started businesses, man, I got to find the easy way. Have you ever tried to figure out the easy way to do something? Me, I was like, I got to find the easy way. Man, if there's a way not to do something, I don't want to do it. And now here's the thing. There are easy ways, meaning I went and hired a mentor. I was talking to one of my new clients just yesterday afternoon, and we was talking about some things, and I said, hey, you have this mentor who's already taught you something. You can use exactly what your mentor taught. She was like, really? Yes, you can do that. Yes, that's why you pay people. You pay people to accelerate. I said, you can use this. You don't have to take credit. Hey, I learned this from my mentor, and you can go teach people exactly what your mentor taught you. Jesus did it. Jesus had a mentor. Did you know that? Jesus had a mentor. Who's Jesus' mentor? John the Baptist. Jesus preached the exact same message as John the Baptist. The exact same message. What was the message? Repent, for the kingdom of God has arrived. For the kingdom of heaven has arrived. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That is the same message that John the Baptist preached. And so Jesus, his mentor, was John the Baptist. He didn't change the message. He didn't change the message because he didn't have to. He was like, hey, I found somebody who's already doing it. And if this person's already doing it, then I'm just gonna go. Jesus created a partnership. Check this out. Jesus was in business. And that's why we all should have partnerships. Like I've got people that I work with and they send me clients and I refer them clients. So those are different types of partnerships. We should all have partnerships. Right? Because partnerships, what they do is they accelerate us. And that's what happened to Jesus. Jesus accelerated. He discovered it was time, found somebody. Check this out, write this down. When you discover it's time, you got to find somebody already talking the language that you feel called to. Did you catch that? When you discover when you discover it's your time, you got to find somebody already talking the language that you're being called to, right? So Jesus found somebody that was already talking the language. Oh, shoot, there's this guy already. Oh, my goodness. That's the guy who's already talking the language of where it is I know that I'm going. And so that's what Jesus did. Found this guy. And here's the thing. John already had followers. Check this out. John already had a business. He already had a school. He already had students. Jesus showed up. John was like, oh, shoot, this guy's greater than me. Hey, you should follow him. And all of a sudden, then Jesus had the pick of as many as he would like. And he went around. He saw the ones. He checked everybody out. I want you. I want you. I want you. Come with me. Because he knew at that point, he knew his purpose, but he found somebody talking the same language. He didn't just go in blind, guys. See, a lot of times we go in blind. I went into my business blind. More Small Business Services was a blind bat. That dude was so blind. He did not find someone talking the language. What now? I'm not gonna say I didn't make any investments, because I did. I found a company. I said, man, I didn't know how to sell, didn't know what selling was. I'm an accountant, for God's sake. Accountants don't sell nothing. And we don't, typically accountants don't necessarily know how to do that, because we're all running to the computer. Man, that was my thing. I ran into accounting because I said, man, there's no way I'm going to sell anything. But do you know that skill is one of my greatest assets? What is the skill? Communication. The skill of communication is something that you have to account for. If we don't account for the communication style that we've given, that we've all been given, a communication style. This is my gift of communication right here. I can do this. I can present. I can speak. Then the tone of my voice is also my gift. You can hear it. The tone of my voice is a gift. When I'm speaking to people, it's like, man, you just make me. You just calm me down. I was on the phone with my client just last night, just yesterday afternoon. And where she's way up here, I was down here. And all of a sudden, like, it calmed the waters. See, guys, our gifts you walk around with every day, but yet we don't use the gifts, or we misuse the gifts. We misuse the gifts. I misused my gifts. I'm going to tell you how I misused my gifts. Lying. Lying. I was a liar. What do you mean? You was a liar? Yeah, meaning I told white lies. But a white lie is just a lie. A little bit of the truth is not the truth. So here it is. I'm misusing my communication style. I could potentially lose the trust. And I'm still working on this. Meaning I'm still working on it, because your word is everything. I'm still working on it so that when I say something, it's always true. What does that mean? It's not that you're lying. It's that, hey, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and it's done. Oh, I got a praise report for you guys. Yesterday when I was here, I said, I'm gonna write an ad every single day. I went and wrote an ad yesterday. And I actually wrote 5. Wrote 5 new ads. And they're running on Facebook. I'm gonna go back today and I'm gonna write another ad. I said, I'm going to write an ad every single day. Why are you going to do that? Because I'm learning. I'm learning something that I've been learned, but I've got to keep doing it in order to say that I know it. We don't listen. One of my mentors, Dr. Myron Golden, he says this. He says, you don't get to learn anything until you do something. Write that down. You don't get to learn anything until you do something. You don't get to learn anything. I don't get to learn anything until I do something. And until I do it to the point of mastery, I can't say that I really know how it works. But purpose, think about purpose. And I'm going to let you go in about 2 minutes. Purpose is one of these interesting words, because it's, even one of my coaches, mentors, he says, don't get lost in that. Because at the end of the day, typically purpose in and of itself, like if you just say, Jay, I'm going to live my purpose. Okay, that doesn't mean you're going to be rich. That doesn't mean you're going to make a bunch of money. If that was like if you wanted your business to grow, that doesn't mean that that's going to happen. So, and he make because there's a lot of people in the group, and a lot of people just want to stick there. And like, no, you got to you're going to have to sell something. You're going to have to market something. You're going to have something that other people desire, and that's exactly why these hands, God put me into the field that I'm in. God put me into the field. God showed me who I really, really desired to be. And here's who I desired to be. I desired to be a doctor. That was my biggest desire. Man, if I could just be a doctor, man, doctors make the most money. And doctors, man, they heal people. They heal people. And then I got to the part where you got to learn all the scientific stuff. I says, I said, I'm good. I worked in the hospital, guys. And now before I worked in the hospital, I already changed to accounting, but I did work in the hospital right after I finished high school. And I said, I'm good. I worked in the operating room, and I saw all kinds of things, meaning I saw heart surgeries. I saw all kinds of people getting all types of surgeries. I saw abortions like crazy. I worked in the same day surgery unit, which means that unit is where they did abortions. And I pushed those young girls into the abortion chamber every day. I didn't even understand what was happening. I just knew that when they were done, they typically was like, most of them, and some of them were just excited. But I look at that as, wow, when I look back, that was not a situation that I'm proud of being a part of. But I'm not going to stick there. I just want to say this. Sometimes the thing that we see, the things that we desire first is where God wants to take us. God's desire for me was to put me in a situation where I can really help, where I can really help people come back to themselves, help people to become more of themselves, to help people to have trust in themselves, to help people to have confidence in themselves, to help people to have certainty about themselves, to help people to have clarity about who they are. That's what God put inside of me from the beginning. And he showed me the desire. I didn't understand it. And then he had to work. He had to work around all my mistakes. Like God has to work around our mistakes. But that's why he put the GPS in there. That GPS will lead us directly to where God has already designed for us. So here's the thing. You can be sure that what you believe about yourself is true when you believe what you think about yourself is true. You should write that down. You will know that it's true when you believe what you believe about yourself. If you believe, man, I am powerful, then that means you're powerful when you believe it. Man, I am strong, then that means you're strong when you believe it. I am rich, that means you're rich when you believe it. That means I'm healthy when you believe it. That means that I know exactly what God created. When you believe it, that's when you will know it. Do you see how that works? If you believe it, it has to be true. And it works the same for negative things. If you believe a lie about yourself, it has to be true. So why would I believe something that's a lie or contrary to where I would really like to be or who I would really like to be? Why would I believe that? I won't. I'm not. I would much rather believe the best lie possible. Man, I'm a billionaire. I'd much rather believe. Think about this. If you believe you are a billionaire and you really believed it, it has to be true, which means that when you believe it from the inside, from your mind, from your soul, from deep down, it has to teach you from the inside what it takes to do it. But if we don't believe, here's the thing. We believe. So technically, we're either going to believe what we don't want or we're going to believe what we do want. And I don't even like using one. What we would like or what we don't like, what we don't desire, or what we do desire. When you believe it, you know it's your purpose, man. It's simple. It's simple. It's so simple that you're like, Jay, it sounds simple right now when you're talking. But here's the thing. That's why you should join the Good Accounting Challenge, right? Because at least you're going to get 5 days straight of learning this information different. We're not going to see what I do here is not the same. Now I may cross populate some things, but I'm not talking about half the things that I'll be talking about in that challenge. So you have most of the stuff you have not heard. You have not heard the sequential of the you have not heard the sequence of the events that's happening in this challenge. So go register for the challenge, goodaccountingchallenge.com. And if you do that, I can say with certainty, because I'm certain about who I am, I can say with certainty that this challenge is made for people like you who are purpose-driven. All right, guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. What's going on, Brittany? How are you? Good to see you on here. And all I can say is God himself has created you to do amazing and powerful things. I look forward to seeing all that in you. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.